with February done, we are officially at under 10 weeks left of our school year. And I don't know, I'm feeling good, but I'm also, I don't want to wish it away. Ben is a junior, so he's only got one more year of high school, and then I'm down to just one. Which is especially weird because when I started this channel, Matthew was heading into kindergarten. And now I'm down to almost just one more left. Okay, before I get to be an emotional mess, let's jump right into February update. It's been a lot of a month outside of our homeschool. We had to get a new HVAC system, for example. We've had 3 appliances that have been on the kibbutz, and just this and that. So I am glad to say goodbye to February and looking forward to March. Okay, let's start with Ben, who's my junior. He is finishing up his physics right now because starting in a couple of weeks, he's going to take an intensive math class through Study Hall / Arizona State Universal Learners Program. If you're not familiar with this, Study Hall is part of the Crash Course company, and they have partnered with Arizona State University's Universal Learner Program. Courses are $25, same as the Universal Learner Program. If you don't want it on your transcript and you have a year to pay $400 for it to be transcripted. So he is going to take real world college math, I think is what the official name is, or college algebra for it. We've putzed around with math this year. He's done various things, and we just couldn't find anything that was really good. He completed through Algebra 2 last year, and he wants to take statistics next year. Maybe at the community college, or maybe through Khan Academy or one of those. So this year was just kind of a placeholder year of keeping his skills up, but not trying to necessarily get ahead. So he has been doing some Khan Academy and Life of Fred, but on a more casual basis. So he's taking this course. It's a semester worth of a course in 7 weeks. So because it's going to be so intensive, we are finishing up physics, like I said. And he is finishing up most of his history. He'll do a little bit still the rest of the year, but most of his focus, the last part of school, will be on this math course. The math uses Alex, I think is the way you pronounce it, in their course. There's videos and whatever. So he's looking forward to it. I think it'll be something different for him. And it will be nice to see him do kind of a dual enrollment level course. As for physics, he has been doing Guest Hollows physics this year. And so, like I said, he's almost done with it. He's got maybe another week's worth of material left, thereabouts. This is his 3rd Guest Hollow course, and he's really enjoyed all of them. Of botany, chemistry, and physics, though, I would say physics is probably his least favorite. Part of that is that he just doesn't love physics. Part of that is also just the course itself. So, he'll be glad to be done with it. I will be doing a review about it. I've started making my notes for it. I don't know when I'm actually going to get it done, but it will be hopefully before the end of the school year. Now for history, as I said, is finishing up it. He is doing this year kind of an early modern history. So roughly 1400s until 1800s. That's really rough. But specifically, this in 2025 starting, actually, I think we started in December, January, February. He has done a world history focus through explorers. So he learned about all kinds of different explorers, both on the ocean and land. And we did a few astronauts even. Now, along with the different activities he's done and the videos he's watched, he's also been reading several books. One of the ones that he just finished is called River of Darkness, and it's about the first European to travel the Amazon River. And the other one he's finishing up is called The Fifth Sun, which is about, I'm going to say it wrong. I don't remember if it's the Mayans or the Aztecs. I think it's the Mayans. I may be wrong. But I found that book on the Ask a Historian subreddit over on Reddit. If you've never visited that subreddit, it is absolutely fantastic because you get really interesting things over there, but also really knowledgeable answers, because it's not just like random Joe Schmoes. It's actual historians who are answering your questions. It is fantastic. So someone on there recommended The Fifth Sun, and that's his last thing, and then he's done with the explorers. But he's already started the next one, which is the next unit, which is it's going to be a very low-key unit on early American history. Now, we've done obviously lots of U.S. history in the past, and we are breaking up his U.S. history credit for high school over this year and next year. He is not college bound, and so I've got a lot more flexibility in how I do his transcript than if he wasn't. So we're breaking it up. He will go through roughly through the American Revolution this year, still in these last weeks. If he quickly moves through whatever already assigned to him, we'll move on. But my guess is that that's all he's going to get through, because he's only doing a couple of hours a week of it, because we have the focus still on his math class coming up. I'm excited to do a U.S. history because it's been a really long time since we've had a focused one. I think the last focused one we did was when Elizabeth was in 8th grade or 10th grade, and she's getting ready to graduate college. So it's been a while. So I'm excited to see what all is out there now. Matthew will be doing U.S. history next year as well, so I'm going to be steep in it for a bit. Ben will be using the American YAWP, I think is the way it's pronounced, WAYP, which is a collaborative online free textbook that's written by some different historians. He'll be using that and U.S. History Detective from Critical Thinking Company as his two main spines, I guess. I have a video about the American History Detective that I will leave down there. So those will be those, and then we'll just add in some different resources for it. Like I said, it's just going to be a couple of hours a week. He's going to be pretty low-key, get through the American Revolution, and then that's probably all for the school year. Okay, Matthew. In the last video, I told you that I would be updating about how the Fahrenheit 451 Fishtank unit went. The book itself went way better than I expected. I think I mentioned it then that I was just a little nervous that, I don't know, I wasn't sure how the book would go. He really enjoyed the book. We had some really good discussions. I would still maintain that it's probably better as a sophomore or junior, or even a senior book rather than a 9th grade book. I think that extra bit of maturity for discussion and analysis purposes would be good. But overall, the unit went way better than I expected it to go. So he will be moving next back to Oak Meadow, which I also recently put up that video about. I know I had promised that for a while, so thank you for hanging in there and waiting. We'll be going back to that and doing the book Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. We've never read one of his books in our homeschool, so I'm excited to have a new author in there, even though he's not new, just new to us. I don't think I've ever read him either, so that'll be nice to do something completely different. Math. He is continuing with Math Without Borders Geometry, and I know I've talked about this book already this year, but I don't remember when. We are really, really enjoying it. If you're unfamiliar with Math Without Borders, there are videos and then text to go with it. In algebra last year, he used it, and they used Forrester's text for algebra, and that was really good. Algebra 2, Forrester's. But for geometry, I forget the textbook name. I will put it here. But it is a completely different text than what we've ever used before for high school. It is much more of a discovery approach to math, meaning that in the beginning of the chapter, they give you what they call a central problem, and it's kind of the theme of the chapter, kind of. I'm not sure how best to describe it. And then each chapter starts out kind of easy, and your student, the whole process is your student developing and discovering how geometry works. I have been blown away by how much my own geometry knowledge has increased. And I've done geometry. I've taught 2 other kids geometry. I've gone through most of Khan Academy's high school geometry. And I'm still learning a bunch of what I would call basic geometry, but it's more than just a basic geometry. It was a big learning curve, though. A big learning curve. I will probably do a video about this geometry, but it probably won't be until the summer. But if you want to ask questions about it and you are interested, please let me know, and I can chat with you over email or something. Not only is the format pretty different than what he did last year, but it's also not a matter of, like, do these 4 problems, because these 4 problems today may take you 5 minutes, or they may take you 45 minutes because of the difficulty in them. And so it's been a lot to learn how to schedule it. Math Without Borders Geometry has been really good. Once we got that learning curve down, we have been moving a little bit slowly in January and February, so I'm hoping we pick up the pace a little bit here. We will be picking up the pace. I'm hoping not to have to go too far into the summer with this. Elizabeth is graduating at the beginning of May, and we are taking a family vacation to celebrate at the end of May. So we've got a little bit of time in between, but I would really love to not have to do a whole lot of school in between if we can avoid it. CompuScholar's AP Computer Science is still going really well. That curriculum is really well done, very clearly laid out. He's enjoying it. I don't know if we will if we'll do another computer science next year or not. He's not sure. But if we did, we will absolutely look at CompuScholar. And the last thing, I don't know if I've talked about it at all, is that Matthew is doing German this year. And we had a bit of a rough start to it, in part because we just couldn't find a curriculum that was really good or a good fit for him. He was going to do Spanish until August 4th or something, and then he asked if he could switch to German instead. So my plans were no longer my plans, and we had to it was too late to get into any live class. So anyway, in one of the Facebook groups, I think it was College Confident Homeschoolers, I found a lady who teaches on her own. And it's been really good, but it's been a bit of a rough to find good pacing to it. I think her material is good. Like, it's all online. The material itself is good. He's learning a lot. It's not the easiest one for Matthew to execute. In that, sometimes there'll be like like the introductory slides for each unit have the vocabulary, but there's no like full list of it that we can then take and copy into Quizlet. There are writing assignments, but she'll have it on there. Then he has to copy it down and then upload it. So these little things that slow down the execution, that's made it a little challenging for him. But he meets with her live weekly and he really likes her. So that's good. It's just been a lot of staying on top of him to get that stuff done in a way that that's the part of homeschooling that I really dislike, is I hate using the word nagging, but the nagging kids to get things done. I would much rather spend the time discussing and grading and inputting grades on them, transcripts and whatever, than getting them to stay on top of their schoolwork. And for the most part, I've not had a whole lot of problem with that with my kids. But part of that is because I've purposefully gone about choosing things that makes it easier for them to stay on top of things on their own without me having to do it. So that's our February update. I would love to know how February went for you. Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.